missions under the UN banner from Mali to Central African Republic, working tirelessly to restore stability. However, despite these efforts, global challenges such as terrorism, climate change-induced conflicts, and geopolitical tensions persist. In conclusion, we call upon all the member states to redouble their efforts to uphold peace through diplomatic dialogue. Thank you. I would like to yield my time to Delegate of Germany.
That's great. How much time is remaining? 20 seconds. Delegate of France, you can start writing your paper and send it to me right now.
Sure.
Thank you. Delegate of Germany, you have 110 seconds with you.
Madam Chair, I would like to submit my position papers as also to a written consent on using the language of my partner. Thank you.
Please submit it to the Vice Chair. Thank you. The dais is yours, Delegate.
A very pleasant good morning to all the dignified dignitaries, the respected Chair, and the Honorable Secretariat, that is, the Board of the Dignitaries. The Federal Republic of Germany, in our language known as the Deutschland, extends its sincere regard to the diligent Secretariat already mentioned. The international community has been so keen in regarding peace and security in today. The time couldn't have been more pressing. Even though the world as a whole has suffered a lot, Germany holds confidence that we will rise again. We will rise better, friends. In these turbulent times, when the world order trembles, we need to understand the answer to this beckoning question is peace, not aggression. We must stand united, not in regard to any state, but not against it either, together. The state of Germany doesn't recognize any issue to be suppressive or greater than any other. We stand on the theme of collaboration, negotiation and transformation, which is also the motto of today's model United Nations. Our foreign policy on multilateralism and peace for peaceful resolution of conflict has a great evidence attached to it. In conclusion, I would like to conclude that a great personality once said, true winning or true victory is not the winning of battles or wars, but it is the long-lasting establishment of peace. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Delegate, you have 20 seconds. How would you like to yield your time?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to yield it for Q&A session. Thank you.
Please remain on the dais. Please, Delegate, stand up and introduce your nation, and you can then please Q&A. You will get 5 seconds for framing your question and asking the delegate. And delegate, in turn, you have 20 seconds to reply.
Respected Chairperson, the Secretary General, and the Vice Chairperson, I am representing the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Has raised a question to the Democratic Republic of Germany.
Please be concise. Please be concise, because we don't have. You just have 5 seconds.
The main question in this is, you had talked about the Nazis. I mean, you had talked about the country involved in UN peacekeeping force in any African or the Middle East nations.
Delegate, please keep your question concise and rephrase it within 5 seconds.
Okay, respected Chairperson.
I would,
Let me you out. Delegate of Germany, he's asking whether you support UNPKF in any way.
Respected delegate of Pakistan and my dear friend, I would like to tell you that yes, Germany is in full support of multilateralism that includes peaceful resolution with all and every country. As far as my country's historical significance is concerned, on an international stage, I would say that we wouldn't have been more unheartened for what our ancestors did, and the repercussions in today's world are seen. Nothing that we do for 100 years to come can ever rectify what our ancestors did. I hope, friend, I answered your question.
Thank you, my dear friend.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is anyone intending to ask another question? You're free to. No? Thank you, Delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Secretariat.
Thank you, Delegate of Pakistan. All the delegates, a notice. While you are giving your GSL, at 60 seconds, the gavel will hit, okay? To remind you that you have 30 seconds left. So we expect you to conclude in those 30 seconds. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, good morning. The United States of America stands before this esteemed assembly today to address the paramount issue of international peace and security. As a founding member of the United Nations, permanent member of the Security Council, the United Nations has long been committed to the ideas of collective security, the peaceful resolution of disputes, and promotion of human dignity in every corner of the globe. Our shared goal is a world where conflict is minimized, human rights are upheld, and the rule of law prevails. The challenges to global peace are manifold, from specter of nuclear proliferation to violent extremism of non-state actors, from regional conflicts to the devastating consequences of climate change. The United States recognizes these threats, but we also recognize that collaboration, multilateral diplomacy, and the strict adherence to international law are strongest tools for addressing them. The United States has always been committed to upholding the principles of the United Nations Charter, which prohibits the use of force against territorial integrity of any state. However, the right of states to defend themselves under Article 51 remains a cornerstone of global order, particularly in an era when non-state actors such as terrorist organizations I'm sorry.
No problem. So you can please be seated.
Thank you.
Are there any motions on the floor? So we will have a motion on the floor. Please raise your placards. Yes, delegate of. Please.
The delegate Israel would like to propose a moderated caucus.
Please stand up and talk, delegate of Israel.
The delegate of Israel would like to initiate a moderated caucus on the topic humanitarian aid for a duration of 1 hour, and each delegate getting a time frame of 120 seconds.
We have a motion on the floor to initiate mod caucus. Please raise your placards, whoever are in motion. And how many are against the motion? Please raise your placards. Observing, overwhelming. majority. Right now we will pursue for mod caucus. Any topics, Delegate of Israel, that you would like to suggest on the floor?
Humanitarian aid.
How many are in support of humanitarian aid as a topic of mod caucus? Please raise your placards. And how many are against the motion? Okay. Well, observing overwhelming majority, now the mod caucus topic has been set to humanitarian aid. To allow for focused discussion of potential amendments, this session begins. Each delegate will get 60 seconds for the same. Due to time constraint, we cannot follow 120 seconds. We will be just giving 60 seconds to each delegate. Following which, we can keep the additional time for Q&A session. It will be more helpful for debating and for new beginners to learn from the process. The floor is now open for mod caucus. Please go chronologically A to Z, come forward, and sitting on your positions, please explain in 60 seconds what you feel about the theme. That is humanitarian aid.
Good morning. The delegate of Armenia will thank the chair for the recognitions. Honorable chairs and fellow delegates. Armenia recognizes the critical importance of humanitarian aid in alleviating human sufferings and upholding the dignity of those affected by conflict, natural disasters and other crises. As a nation with a history shaped by challenges and resilience, we deeply understand the transformative power of timely and impartial assistance. In recent years, Armenia has faced humanitarian challenges, including the displacement of vulnerable populations due to regional conflicts. These experiences reaffirm our belief that humanitarian aid must be guided by the principles of impartiality and humanity. We emphasize the need of international collaboration in ensuring that aid reaches those in dire need, regardless of political or geographical barriers. Thank you.
The delegate of Afghanistan would like to thank the chair for the recognition, honorable chair and fellow delegates. I will be giving my opinion on the humanitarian aid. Afghanistan is experiencing one of the world's most severe humanitarian crises, with 28 million people in urgent need of assistance. Poverty, famine, and displacement have escalated since 2021. The delegation of Afghanistan calls for increased funding of UNHCR and WHO to deliver food, medical aid, and shelter. Global prioritization of Afghan refugees and any internal displaced persons through collaborative international support.
The next delegate can use additional 15 seconds.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates.
You can talk without the mic, but you have to be loud. Are you comfortable?
Let me just.
It's alright, it's alright. Sure.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, good morning. The delegation of Australia is honored to be part of today's discussion. Australia works towards a world focused on addressing the root causes of humanitarian need, where humanitarian assistance is needed less often. The causes of crises such as conflict, famine, and climate change cannot be prevented or resolved by humanitarian assistance. A comprehensive and sustained approach is required to address the key drivers of crisis, using all the tools available to us across development, foreign policy, and humanitarian action. Through Australia's international development policy, we will draw our investments in social protection, climate and environment, health, and nutrition. Australia's international development efforts.
Who's the delegate of Israel? You have to ask or pass notes to talk. You can't talk directly. I hope you're aware about the UN protocols. You have to send a note. You have to ask the chair before speaking. I hope that's clear to all the delegates. Please do not violate any of the protocols of anyone. I'll be very strict on that. In order to speak or anything, if you want to tell to your fellow delegates, you have to pass through notes. Okay, this is a new learning you will get to know today. For beginners, this is the way you communicate in an UN session. Okay?
Australia's international development efforts tackle poverty and help communities in countries build resilience to crisis. Concept and feasibility analysis forms part of our development planning and will be embedded where appropriate. Thank you.
Before we move on to the next delegate, I see a lot of you delegates are using internet. So before I point out the delegates, please switch off your mobile data and any kind of data you're using. Okay? I still see many names here. Use of internet is strictly prohibited, and whomever I see, I suspend them directly. Please don't let me be harsh and strict with the rules. Please do follow the protocols. I'm warning you because a lot of people are first timers, so I'm being very, very simple with the things to explain it to all of you. But I hope you understand. Don't let me be strict because this is a matter of suspension. Okay? So please switch off the internets. Because I can see the names here. Honorable Chief and the Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, we, Austria, has long been committed to promoting international peace and security, emphasizing the importance of humanitarians. Each year, over 339 million people worldwide require humanitarian assistance according to the United Nations. Wars, natural disasters and climate change has been displaced over 110 million people globally, the highest number ever recorded as per as UNHCR report. Austria allocated 0.3% of GNI to official development assistance (ODA), prioritizing crisis-affected regions such as Syria, Afghanistan, and Ukraine. During the Syrian refugees crisis, Austria provided shelter and essential services to over 88,000 asylum seekers by 2015. We need to find better ways to make sure and goes the assistance to the right places and helps people in the long run. We are nation greetings to the Honorable Chair. I, the delegate of Azerbaijan, would like to say about it that Azerbaijan has always been dedicated towards the international peace and security, and for that it has always been working with the United Nations since 1992 and has participated in various activities such as peacemaking and operations for in case of humanitarian. And despite of all the ongoing disputes, it has been with the regional it has been going through the regional conflicts. It has always tried to, work with the operations in the aspect of maintaining the peace, such that even other countries such as Afghanistan, South Sudan, and all the other operations can, please use formal terms. Is not allowed. I'm really sorry. Thank you.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Bangladesh has made significant contribution to humanitarian aid, both domestically and internationally. in various ways. The country has been involved in providing assistance during crisis, supporting especially the Rohingya refugees and provided shelter for them in the Cox's Bazar district. Bangladesh highlights the crucial importance of protecting civilians in armed conflicts, particularly through humanitarian assistance.
The next delegate has 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, Bulgaria stands before this committee as a nation committed to fostering peace and stability in a world fraught with challenges. As a Balkan country, Bulgaria has experienced the impact of regional conflicts and understands the importance of diplomacy and collaboration. Bulgaria is also committed to ensuring international peace and security. As a Balkan country, it has experienced regional instability and understands the importance of global cooperation to prevent conflict and promote sustainable peace. We also encourage the humanitarian aid to conflict zones with transparency. For example, we provide humanitarian aid to the Ukrainian refugees, and together let us prioritize dialogue, cooperation, and action to achieve the global peace and security we envision. Thank you.
The next delegate has additional time of 25 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, as the representative of the People's Republic of China, I would like to address this Council on Humanitarian Aid. China recognizes the importance of providing timely and effective humanitarian assistance, especially in conflict zones. We advocate for coordinated international response that respects national sovereignty and prioritizes the needs of affected populations. China has been a significant donor in humanitarian aid, particularly in response to natural disasters such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods. For instance, China helped Myanmar in 2021 following a devastating cyclone and helped Turkey during a major earthquake. Additionally, China has also participated in numerous UN-led peacekeeping missions that include delivering humanitarian aid in conflict zones. China supports measures to improve delivery mechanisms and ensure that aid reaches those in need without any kind of political interference. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, in the realm of humanitarian aid, Croatia has consistently demonstrated its commitment to alleviating suffering and promoting resilience. Our humanitarian endeavors have focused on providing critical assistance, fostering sustainable development. For instance, during the 2015 European migrant crisis, Croatia provided humanitarian aid to over 600,000 migrants and refugees, including food, shelter, medical care, and psychological support. Croatia's efforts helped alleviate the suffering of those affected and facilitate their safe passage. The impact in our humanitarian efforts have been tangible, with countless lives saved, communities revitalized, and hope rekindled. Thank you.
Please hold on for a second, next delegate. How much extra time does she have? You have 1 minute, delegate.
So Denmark would like to thank the Honorable Chair for the recognition. Good morning, Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates. Denmark is deeply committed to the humanitarian aid, providing nearly 2.7 billion DKK annually to support the crisis-affected populations. Our humanitarian efforts are guided by the core principles of humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence, ensuring that the aid reaches those in need while promoting the international peace and security. Denmark focuses on addressing immediate needs like food security, water and sanitation, and economic stability, while also fostering long-term resilience. We use multi-purpose cash assistance to empower individuals and strengthen the local markets. Moreover, Denmark supports climate, smart agriculture, sustainable livelihoods, and solar-powered water system to
Delegate of Denmark, sorry to interrupt you. Please be on the topic of international peace and security. You're talking about health sustainability. That's not a part of our theme. Thank you.
Yeah. delegates.
Just hold on a second. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Delegate of Denmark, you have 1 minute. If you want to speak, you have 60 plus 1 minute in your hand. Right now. Do you want to speak or you would like to give it to the next delegate? Okay. Please go on, delegate.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, humanitarian aid is a critical lifeline for nations grappling with crisis, and Ecuador stands as a pivotal moment in its journey towards recovery and stability. As a delegate of Ecuador, I speak to you with deep understanding of the pressing humanitarian need that our nation faces and the importance of international support in addressing these challenges. Ecuador has been affected by various adversities, including natural disasters, economic instability, and the influx of migrants from neighboring countries. These factors have exacerbated vulnerabilities within our communities, leading to increased level of poverty, food insecurity, and limited access to essential services. The people of Ecuador are resilient, but they require urgent assistance to rebuild their lives and foster sustainable development. The people of Ecuador aspire a future where they can thrive without the shadow of crisis looming over them. Together, we must reaffirm our commitment to humanitarian principles and work diligently to provide the necessary support for recovery and development. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 seconds plus 1 minute to talk.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the delegation of Finland recognizes that humanitarian crises are among the gravest challenges to the international peace and security. Conflict and natural disasters often leave vulnerable populations in dire need of assistance. Finland firmly believes that providing timely and effective humanitarian aid is not only a moral imperative but also a critical step toward restoring stability in conflict zones. We call upon states to ensure unimpeded access for humanitarian actors and adhere to international humanitarian law. Furthermore, Finland advocates for increased funding for UN humanitarian missions, especially for protracted crisis, and the establishment of localized supply hubs to enable faster aid delivery. Let us remember that peace cannot take root where basic human needs are ended. We look forward to working with all the delegations to craft sustainable solutions that prioritize. Thank you.
Delegate, it is, see, the first time the gavel bangs, it's to remind you that your half time is over. Okay? So you can go on.
Let us remember that peace cannot take root where basic human needs are unmet. We look forward to working with all the delegations to craft sustainable solutions that prioritize human dignity and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
The next delegate has 60 seconds plus 50 seconds.
Okay.
Sorry, Delegate of France, to interrupt you. I still see some names here. Final warning, if you do not off your hotspot, marks will be deducted. Marks will not be deducted, you will be suspended. This is the final warning I am giving you. You can please leave the room without even me telling you that. Is that clear, delegates?
I request all delegates to pay attention when a delegate is speaking, because if we have a Q&A session, you can ask them questions. So please, everyone pay attention to the delegate who is speaking.
Please go ahead, Delegate of France.
Thank you, Chair. In recent years, France has taken proactive measures to support crises around the world, from extending immediate relief to war-affected regions such as Ukraine and Syria, to assisting vulnerable population in the Sahel region. We prioritize humanitarian access in the most challenging contexts through the French Development Agency, which is AFD, and partnership with organizations like United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. We strive to deliver sustainable solutions alongside emergency responses. France also recognizes the growing threats posed by climate change to global humanitarian needs. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and drought exacerbate existing vulnerabilities. Particularly in low-income countries in Africa, France advocates for integrating climate resilience into humanitarian aid strategies to mitigate future crises. However, humanitarian aid requires collective responsibility. That's why France urges all member states to honor their funding commitments. Also, it requests the UN member, the state of Israel, not to blockade the humanitarian aid provided to the people of Palestine. Thank you, and I would like to give my time to Delegate of Germany.
Delegate of Germany, you have 60 seconds plus 30 seconds.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Delegate of Germany would like to extend its warm regards again to all the delegates present here, and would also propose on one thing and emphasize on it, that being, we all are talking here about humanitarian aid, which is quite important. Don't you all agree? So my sincere friends, my brothers and sisters, I would also urge as a delegation of Germany to not only talk on these issues, but have an impending effect on it. By that, I mean, we all have United Nations. We all are here. Thank you. We all are here, we all are in the United Nations. But we have something known as OSEC, all these kind of alliances which are really helping the world today in humanitarian aid. Why not let us take a step ahead and create an alliance even for humanitarian aid? That is a part of that is a part of security and of peace throughout the world. Right, now coming back to the point, Germany's stance on humanitarian aid has been, like any of my friend and any of my brothers and sisters in Europe, like my true Anglo, we have a very Germano-Franco relation. The France and Germany holds a border. So I would extend this. Why not create another alliance? Why not take a step ahead of execution of the task rather than just speaking on it? I would like to conclude here. Thank you.
Next delegate has 60 seconds. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Greece stands before this committee as a nation that has both provided and received humanitarian aid throughout its history. As a country positioned at crossroads of Europe, Asia and Africa, Greece has been deeply affected by the regional instability, particularly in the Eastern Mediterranean. The ongoing conflicts in Syria and Libya, coupled with devastating impacts of climate-induced disasters, have forced thousands to flee their homes. Turning Greece into the frontline state for the 4G arrivals. Despite our limited resources, Greece has worked tirelessly to uphold the humanitarian obligations, from providing shelter and healthcare, to displace the population on islands such as Nios and Samos, to collaborating with UNHCR and NGOs. We remain committed to ensuring that human dignity prevails even in the face of crisis. However, Honorable Chair and esteemed delegate, humanitarian aid, which aids to save lives and reduce people's suffering in times of crisis, has grown considerably over the last century to become a central feature of international relations and of multilateral system. Guyana expresses deep concern over the ongoing humanitarian crisis in the world, urging the immediate international action to safeguard civilians and ensure compliance with international humanitarian law. The government of Guyana emphasized the need for both the sides to commit to a serious political and diplomatic process aimed at ending the war and bringing lasting peace to both the regions. Guyana also voices the protection of civilians and civilian structures, including residential building as well as humanitarian workers in accordance with international humanitarian law. Thank you. Next is Delegate of India. You have 61 seconds.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, the delegation of India firmly believes that providing humanitarian aid is not just an act of generosity but a fundamental responsibility to uphold human dignity and peace. In today's world, millions face crises caused by natural disasters, armed conflicts, and humanitarian emergencies. India has always been at the forefront of providing humanitarian assistance, be it during the Nepal earthquake in 2015, where India was the first responder, or through the Vaccine Maitri initiative during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, we must acknowledge that delivering humanitarian aid often faces obstructions such as politicization, access restrictions, and lack of resources. Let us remember, delegates, that humanitarian aid is not just about providing food and shelter. It is about fostering hope and building a foundation for lasting peace. India stands ready to work with the global community to recognize this noble goal. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 seconds.
As the delegate of Iraq, Iraq is situated in the Middle East, and as you all know, the Middle East is a very conflict-prone zone, as it has been with the Israel-Iran conflict, or even now what the recent events in Syria. And as the delegate of Iran, our country itself has been hit by a lot of terror from militant groups like the ISIS. So therefore, we urge the international community to call for humanitarian aid to restore global peace, and especially in the Middle East, which is a very conflict-prone zone at the moment.
The next delegate has 80 seconds.
Thank you, Chair.
Quad Harushev Rosh, Mukhabidin Hanikmadir, Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, Shalom. As a country that has faced numerous challenges but remains committed to global peace, Israel is proud to be an active contributor to international humanitarian effort. The Jewish tradition has always placed a strong emphasis on helping those in need, and this spirit of compassion is reflected in Israel's ongoing humanitarian efforts worldwide. Israel is known for its rapid and effective disaster response capabilities. The IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, regularly deploy search and rescue teams and medical units to areas affected by natural disasters. Israel's National Emergency Management Authority is one of the most efficient disaster response organizations globally. In 2020, Israel's field hospital was deployed to Beirut, Lebanon, after a devastating explosion at the port, providing medical emergency and care to over 2,000 patients and performing 150 surgeries. Despite the ongoing conflicts and security challenges, Israel continues to provide humanitarian assistance to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. This aid, often coordinated.
Time is up.
Thank you.
Wait, delegate of Italy, just a second, yes. Delegate of Germany, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Delegate. So, the delegation of Germany is very sorry to interrupt. The delegation of Germany is really sorry to interrupt the proceedings, but just so that the chair knows, the note passing is in process. I just required the prior permission of the chair so that I can sign this piece of paper.
Yes, you can go ahead, delegate.
Thank you, Secretariat and Chair, and I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Delegate of Pakistan, you are recognized.
Madam Chairperson, Secretary General, and all my fellow delegates. Israel has blocked the humanitarian by using its IDF.
Distinguished delegate of Pakistan, we have the Q&A session after the GS, after the MOD caucus is done.
Okay.
See, after everyone has been. Delegate of Italy, you can now continue.
Thank you, Madam. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Humanitarian aid for Italy in the context of international peace and security is an important topic, especially considering Italy's role in global peacemaking efforts, its membership in international organizations like the United Nations and the European Union, and its geographical position in Mediterranean. Italy has faced various challenges in recent years that have drawn international attention, including managing migration flows, responding to natural disasters, and contributing to peacemaking missions worldwide. The key points of Italy in the humanitarian aid is Italy's role in global peacemaking, humanitarian aid to the migrants, and national disasters uptaking, and the last one is impact of international sanctions and security concerns. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. Good morning, delegates. Japan firmly believes that providing humanitarian aid in conflict zones is essential to preserving international peace and security. In regions plagued by war and instability, millions face hunger, displacement, and lack of access to basic healthcare. Japan, as one of the largest contributors to official development assistance, has demonstrated its commitment to humanitarian aid through various initiatives. One such example is giving $470 million aid to Ukraine in 2022. However, we must also recognize systematic barriers that hinder efficient delivery of humanitarian aid, such as lack of accessibility of resources, transparency in the process, and corruption. Japan urges creation and strengthening of a centralized UN monitoring body along with using blockchain technology to oversee the equitable distribution of humanitarian aid resources. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates. Libya has firsthand witnessed the profound importance of humanitarian aid in conflict zones. Our citizens have endured the trauma of displacement with little access to life-saving resources such as food, clean water, and healthcare. Unfortunately, despite the urgent need, humanitarian assistance is often delayed by political barriers and lack of coordination. Libya proposes the following approach to address these challenges. 1. Establish UN-controlled humanitarian corridors to ensure that aid reaches those who need it most, free from political interference. 2. Increase funding to essential agencies like UNHCR and WHO, enabling them to respond effectively to crisis. 3. Strengthen partnerships with both NGOs and local organizations to improve the ongoing distribution of aid, ensuring it reaches every corner where it is needed. The Security Council must prioritize the humanity over politics to alleviate the suffering of people in conflict zones. Let us come together and demonstrate compassion, cooperation, and action. Thank you.
The next delegate has 62 seconds.
I would like to pass the mic to the next delegate. Is there any particular reason, delegate? I have no comments. You have no comments? Okay. Move on to the next delegate. He has 62 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Mexico has long been a strong advocate for humanitarian assistance, particularly for vulnerable population affected by conflict, natural disasters, and political instability. As a member of the international community, Mexico believes in collective responsibility and cooperation in the provisions of aid. Here are a few key points I'd like to mention. Mexico emphasizes the importance of neutrality and impartiality in humanitarian aid distribution to ensure that assistance reaches those who need it most, irrespective of political or military affiliation. Mexico supports international cooperation to improve the effectiveness of humanitarian efforts. Mexico advocates for sustainable humanitarian support and capacity building. Thank you.
Before we move on to the next delegate, delegate of Israel, you have been recognized.
Point of personal privilege, may I be excused out for a while? To step out for a while.
Sure, just for your information, as per the Robert's rule, whenever you want to use the washroom or anything for your personal thing, you don't say point of personal privilege. You can say, can I adjourn myself for 5 minutes? Okay? Okay, please, go ahead. Just for your notice, because it's your first time, point of personal privilege happens once somebody is pointing you out on things that your country is not connected to. For example, Cambodia nuclear missiles. Okay, so you can always say, we are the nation, we are the delegates of Cambodia. We don't have nuclear missiles, so we can't comment on it. So that is when you use point of personal privilege. Alright? The next delegate has 60 plus 20 seconds, 80 seconds.
Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? Honorable Chair, Excellencies, esteemed members of the Security Council. It is with great honor the delegate of Mozambique, deeply committed to the principle of international peace and security. Humanitarian aid is not merely a matter of clarity, but a moral imperative that serves as a critical pillar for fostering global peace. It is Mozambique stands ready to collaborate with all nations to strengthen the international humanitarian framework and calls for stronger support for organizations delivering aid on the ground. In closing, Mozambique, as mentioned in the United Nations Charter, Mozambique reiterates that humanitarian aid is not only an act of compassion but a strategic investment in international peace and security. Mozambique calls for collective responsibility from all nations to ensure that the most vulnerable are not left behind. Thank you.
You have 60 plus 15 seconds.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. Myanmar plays an important role in regional humanitarian cooperations. As a member of ASEAN, Myanmar actively participates in Asian Association of Southeast Asian Nations Humanitarian Assistance Center, which coordinates regional disaster response efforts. Myanmar's involvement ensures that aid is delivered quickly and efficiently to disaster-stricken areas in Southeast Asia, demonstrating the country's commitment to regional stability and support during humanitarian crisis. While the Rohingya crisis was a tragic event, the Myanmar government has made efforts to provide humanitarian aid to those affected. Myanmar has worked with international organizations including the United Nations and Red Cross to provide assistance to internally displaced persons within the country. These efforts include providing food, shelter, healthcare and education to those in refugee camps and affected areas. Myanmar has also taken steps towards repatriating displaced Rohingya people from neighboring Bangladesh. The government has engaged in discussions with international partners to facilitate safe and voluntary return in accordance with international standards, which reflects Myanmar's commitment to resolving the crisis. Myanmar continues to express its willingness to work with international organizations to address humanitarian needs, despite the challenges it faces. The country actively engages.
Yes, delegate, you have been recognized.
Can I join myself for this?
Sure, you can.
You will start.
Please continue, delegate.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, good morning. The delegation of New Zealand is honored to address the United Nations Security Council. New Zealand firmly believes that providing humanitarian aid is not just a moral responsibility but a fundamental step towards ensuring peace and stability. While New Zealand is a small nation, we have always committed to helping those in need, including both regionally and globally. We believe that providing humanitarian aid is not just a matter of moral responsibility, but also a fundamental step towards ensuring peace and stability. We have supported our neighboring Pacific regions during natural disasters. For example, the cyclone in Winston recently that happened. We provided millions of dollars for aid and defense personnel and delivered essential supplies like water and food. Following this, in international levels, we have also.
Delegate of New Zealand, thank you. Time is up.
Thank you.
Delegate of Pakistan, you may continue.
Honorable Madam Chairperson, Secretary General and my fellow delegates, Assalamu alaikum. We the delegates of Pakistan. The nation has a devastating flood in the year 2022. Millions of people have lost their food, shelter and clothes. Pakistan has seek asylum from the Afghan station near the border province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The Pakistan has sent a humanitarian aid to the conflict zones like Lebanon, Palestine during Israel war on Gaza. I want to thank to all states who support aid during 2022 flood. Even Pakistan didn't have money to pay their food like essential. Pakistan has received aid from Red Cross and USA. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 plus 10 seconds.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and the delegates. The primary objective of humanitarian aid is to save lives and ensure respect for human dignity for those at the risk or affected by natural or human-made disaster. Polish humanitarian aid is to provide mainly in the form of contribution to international institutions and as co-financing of activities by Polish non-governmental humanitarian organizations. Humanitarian organizations and agencies have a permanent and extensive aid distribution network. Poland's commitments to welcoming those in need should be met with equal commitments for the international community for the peace and security. Whether it is in the form of medical supplies, food aid, or support for disabled families, we must act wisely and effectively. Polish has taken part in many humanitarian aid activities. Poland has hosted over 1.5 million refugees. There are many organizations in Poland that provide service for humanitarian aid. Let us remember that solidarity is not just a word, it is a call of action. Every contribution, no matter how small. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, in a world increasingly plagued by crises from natural disasters to armed conflicts, humanitarian aid remains a cornerstone of global solidarity. The delivery of timely and effective assistance not only saves life, but also fosters long-term stability. However, challenges such as politicization and of aid, logistical barriers and funding gaps continue to hinder efforts in this field. South Korea has been a proactive contributor to global humanitarian efforts, channeling aid through organizations like KOICA and partnering with the United Nations. As a developed nation with a history of overcoming poverty, South Korea emphasizes on the importance of humanitarian aid in fostering global equality. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 plus 7 seconds, so 67.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, as a leading donor of humanitarian aid, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia focuses on ensuring that aid is delivered impartially, effectively, and without politicization. The Kingdom's approach is to support both emergency relief and long-term recovery efforts, particularly in conflict-riddled regions such as Yemen, Syria, and Palestine, where it has played a prominent role in providing aid. The Kingdom underscores the importance of political neutrality in humanitarian work and opposes any attempts to weaponize aid for political gains. It also calls for increased international cooperation, urging member states to uphold their commitments to humanitarian law and support the UN's efforts in delivering aid without obstruction. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 seconds.
Any motion to pass? Sure. Okay. We may now continue with it.
The next delegate has 60 plus 17 seconds.
Esteemed delegates, esteemed chair, fellow delegates,
The Republic of Slovenia firmly believes that humanitarian aid is a fundamental pillar of global solidarity and responsibility. We recognize the growing humanitarian crisis around the world, whether due to armed conflict, natural disasters, or displacement, and we are committed to supporting efforts that provide life-saving assistance to those who are in need. Slovenia emphasizes the importance of delivering aid based on the principles of neutrality, impartiality, and independence. It is essential that humanitarian assistance reaches those who need it most, regardless of political and military considerations. In this context, Slovenia remains dedicated to supporting international frameworks such as the UN humanitarian initiatives and to strengthening our partnerships with both global and organizations and local actors on the ground. We must continue to prioritize the protection of the human dignity, particularly for vulnerable populations like refugees, women, and children. Thank you, Chair.
The next chair has 60 plus 17 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Somalia, located in the Horn of Africa, has faced a long history of political instability, civil conflict, and natural disasters. These factors have led to widespread displacement, both internally and externally, with millions of Somalians seeking refuge in neighboring countries and beyond. Somalia is committed to addressing the refugee crisis through international cooperation, humanitarian aid, and promotion of sustainable development in regions affected by displacement. Somalia is also a major source for refugees, with thousands attempting perilous journeys across Mediterranean Sea or migrating to other countries in search for better opportunities. Despite these challenges, Somalia has made significant strides in strengthening its government and working with international partners to address the underlying causes of displacement. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 seconds plus 27 seconds.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. Humanitarian aid in Sri Lanka has been critical in addressing the challenges posed by civil conflicts, natural disasters, and economic crises. Key areas of humanitarian aid: post-civil war. After the end of civil war in 2009, aid was focused on resettlement of internally displaced persons, IDPs, livelihood support of war-affected communities. Second one, disaster reflect. Sri Lanka faces recurring natural disasters including 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami floods. Third one, economic crisis and food insecurity. The recent economic crisis 2022 to 23 led to shortage of food, fuel and medicine, health sector support and education and child welfare. I would like
Delegate, you have 60 plus 30, 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates and Secretary General, thank you for the recognition. Humanitarian need is the need of an hour. Sweden is globally recognized in humanitarian need adhering to the principles of impartiality, neutrality and independence. The country emphasizes a dual humanitarian development approach, providing immediate assistance while adhering to the root causes and trying to foster longer resilience. The policies include Swedish Strategy for Humanitarian Aid 2021-2025, focusing on saving lives, alleviating suffering, ensuring dignity, prioritizing gender equality and protecting the vulnerable groups, especially women and children. Sweden has constantly called the reforms in UN humanitarian mechanisms to enhance transparency and efficiency. Sweden has allowed around $800 million to humanitarian assistance in 2023 alone, with a significant portion directed towards UNHCR, WFP, and ICRC. Sweden leads initiative for the women and children rights during crisis, emphasizing education and healthcare access, advocating for the stronger international cooperation and accountability for conflict zones, ensuring safe and access for humanitarian workers. Thank you.
The next delegate has 60 plus 15 seconds.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. I, delegate of Palestine, High Delegate of Palestine representing the state of Palestine and the citizens of Palestine. And I really feel honored by the chair for giving me this chance to address on the issue of humanitarian aid. And as the Western philosopher stated, Diogenes, he stated that the world is a cursed place, and I, Delegate of Palestine, believe that the most cursed place by the God is the Middle East, because it has been always infected by violence and terrorism. And due to this, humanitarian aid has become very essential for Palestine, especially in the Gaza Strip and the Western Bank. And due to its political instability and economic sufferings and social challenges, aid has become very important for the state of Palestine. And I would really like to take this moment to appreciate UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Work Agency, to work as a main agency to assist to provide assistance to prevent the damages for Palestine. Thank you.
Next delegate has 60 seconds. Greeting honors to chair and esteemed delegates as I stand as a delegate of Switzerland, a country with a long-standing commitment to promoting international peace and stability. Human aid is the cornerstone for Switzerland's foreign policy and the principle of humanity neutrality, and we believe in human right. And human right is not just the fight for equality and all. It is the basic decency and the dignity that every human deserves to get. And we believe that providing neutral and impartial humanitarian assistance is essential to alleviate the suffering and promoting peace. And Switzerland has a long tradition in providing humanitarian aid. And as we work along with UN, Switzerland's humanitarian aid, and we provide a lot of funds and a lot of assistance to the countries which are in trouble. And in this time and crisis, we deserve this. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable chairs and delegates. Humanitarian sections have significantly impacted the livelihood of Korean people. The Democratic Republic of Korea demands an immediate lifting of restrictions that hinder access to humanitarian aids and development resources. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea calls for the removal of all sections that violate international norms and human rights principles. Resuming talks with relevant parties to establish a legally binding peace agreement that respect our country and security interests. We argue the United Nations Security Council to address the provocations of military alliances in East Asia and create a framework for religion cooperation that includes the Democratic Republic of Korea as an equal partner. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Madam Chair and Secretary Generals and delegates. The Russian Federation recognizes the importance of addressing humanitarian crisis through impartial aid delivery while maintaining respect for state sovereignty. Russia approaches the respect of nations while ensuring aid reaches those in need. The sanctions imposed by certain states often exacerbate civilian hardships and require reconsideration to ensure that they do not undermine international stability. For instance, in Syria, over 13 million people have been affected by ongoing conflict, with more 6 million people displaced internally. Russia has worked along the Syrian government and trusted organizations to ensure aid reaches those in need, while opposing aid delivery across borders without consent. Some operative clauses Russia would like to propose UN-led humanitarian aid operations to ensure impartiality and transparency, mandate the inclusion of sovereign state consent before initiating cross-border activity. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, The United States firmly believes that humanitarian aid is not only a moral obligation but a strategic necessity to promote global peace and security. In regions plagued by conflict, natural disasters, and political instability, timely and effective humanitarian assistance can prevent further destabilization, alleviate suffering, and create an environment of conducive and to peace building. As of 2022, the United States remains the largest global humanitarian donor, providing 14.1 billion humanitarian assistance across more than 80 countries. According to United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, nearly 274 million people globally require humanitarian assistance in 2023, a 25% increase compared to the previous year. The US supports United Nations World Food Program and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, projects these needs. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, we, the Republic of Uganda, understands the importance of providing humanitarian aid. Who better than us can understand it more clearly with utmost forehand experience of causing instability due to the Lord's Resistance Army in the northern part of Uganda. We firmly believe that humanitarian aid is necessary and should be provided with immediate urgency. We are proud to say that after 18 years of working and cooperating with the United Nations, we have minimized the cost of providing we have minimized the number of cases of the all atrocities happened in the northern Uganda. And thank you.
The next delegate has 60 plus 8 seconds.
Good morning, the Honorable Chair and the esteemed delegates. Ukraine has actively contributed to humanitarian aid efforts both domestically and internationally. Ukraine has supported global humanitarian efforts by providing personal expertise and resources to countries affected by disasters and conflicts. Medical training and supplies. Ukraine hospitals and universities have shared expertise in treating war injuries, particularly for countries facing similar challenges.
Delegate of Ukraine, that was a half-time gavel. Do you want to say more?
No.
The next delegate has 60 plus 30, 90 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, the United Arab Emirates views humanitarian aid not just as a reaction to crisis, but also as a core responsibility of the international community. As one of the top global donors, the UAE has contributed over 3 billion in humanitarian assistance as of 22, and as of 2023, 104 aid convoys have delivered nearly 20,000 tons of urgent aid, in addition to 4 ships of carrying 18,530 tons of essential supplies for the displaced families in Gaza. Our approach to aid prioritizes minimum reaction time, neutrality, and collaboration with international organizations to ensure maximum effect. By partnering with the United Nations and others, the UAE has been able to deliver life-saving assistance to those most in need, particularly in conflict zones and disaster-struck areas. But addressing immediate needs is just one part of the equation. To create a lasting change, we must also tackle the underlying causes of crisis, investing in sustainable development, fostering peace, and preventing future conflicts. The UAE advocates for innovative funding solutions and stronger global partnerships to bridge the critical gap between emergency relief and long-term recovery. Let us all work together to uphold the shared principles of humanity and ensure that no one is left behind. Thank you.
The delegate of the United States of America, are you sitting at the right place? Because I don't think the EB allotted you that seat.
I am sitting where my placard was positioned.
Okay, so sorry to just baffle you, but then, yeah, please rectify it and take your seat beside the delegate of United Kingdom. Okay, then beside the delegate of the Russian Federation. Thank you. I hope all the delegates are not using internet. I believe so. Yes, we will continue to do so. Yes, delegate of Slovenia, you have been recognized. Now the floor is open for Q&A for 10 minutes. All who have questions, please. 20 minutes. 20 minutes, that is till 12:10. Yes, delegate of France. Delegate of France. Just a minute, delegate of France. Please stand up, delegate. Okay, you can, you may. Yes, delegate of France, you may please.
Thank you so much, sir. My question is to delegate of Pakistan. I heard him saying that they have provided humanitarian aid to various countries, but my question is, the very need of the humanitarian aid is because of them, which is why we call them the epicenter of terrorism. So, I would like to respond on that, delegate of Pakistan. Thank you.
Respected delegate of France, my friend has said that we have given the aid to Lebanon because every country has to give the aid because it is in the conflict zone. And we are having epicenter of terrorism. Even we faced the floods in 2022. And major actors like USA, the British Red Cross has given us funds, food, shelter, close to rebuild us. I think I have a counter question to my fellow friend. Does your nation provides aid to the country like to countries in North Africa just as a territory, you claiming your North Africa as territory. Is there, you have provided any aid to your territories in North Africa? I mean in Africa.
Mr. Delegate of Pakistan, that did not answer my question, but I'd surely like to answer a question about have the France have provided any humanitarian aid in the North Africa? Yes, we have. We have provided in the Sahel region, and we will continue to do so because France believes in the progress of every country, not only France, but every country, unlike the country of yours. Thank you.
Welcome. We are the epicenter of terrorism because of the influence of non-state actors and state actors. Thank you.
Delegate of Croatia, you are recognized.
I want to point my question towards Myanmar. I want to hear your contributions on the efforts to stop ethnic violence towards Rohingya Muslims because the number of refugees fled from Myanmar to Bangladesh is 700,000 and it's lot for a country like Bangladesh. So may I hear your comments on that?
So speaking on that, we are actually working on that. As I said earlier, Myanmar is due to the complex political and social context is grounded in its commitment to providing support both domestically and regionally. But we are trying to push our limits to sustain ourselves and helping in inside the within the country.
Delegate of Croatia, the delegate of Myanmar answer your question.
Yes, yes.
Delegate of Libya have been recognized.
Thank you for the recognition, Honorable Chair. My question is to Delegate of Bangladesh. I heard the Delegate of Bangladesh saying that they are committed to aid during armed conflicts. But in the recent times, there's an ethnic cleansing going on in Bangladesh against the minorities. I would like to know how they are countering it.
Can I know the question again?
You said that Bangladesh is committed to aid in armed conflicts, but in your very own country, there is ethnic cleansing going on against the minorities.
You delegate of Libya, you have to be connected to the North Caucus of Humanitarian Aid. Can you please rephrase your question?
I'll rephrase my question. You said that you are committed to aiding towards armed conflict, and in your very own country there is a lot of armed conflict going on. How are you aiding the minorities?
Delegate of Germany have been recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. I would request my fellow delegates not to use a term known as ethnic cleansing, because my delegation, we are the Germans, we know what burden it bears to use that word, because we are our ancestors and our stand on that. That's still my country, it's my waterland, and I will always stand by that. But please, I would request my fellow delegate and my friend from Libya to do rephrase your word and use minority violence if that works. I hope I'm not interfering with your sovereignty. But at the same time, I would request everyone not to use the word ethnic cleansing. It's a big. Sorry to interrupt the proceedings, please. Thank you, Chair.
Good point. Delegate, please be seated. Libya, could you please rephrase your question?
Yes, as asked before, you are aiding the minorities in your own country. When you mentioned that you are aiding, you provide aid during armed conflict. So I would know how you are aiding the minorities in your country when there is armed conflict going on.
Delegate of Libya. Delegate of Libya, are you comfortable with that?
I'm sorry, I would like an answer because as a country that is going on in a similar situation with political instability, I empathize with the minorities.
Delegate of Bangladesh, please be ready with the answers. We will move on to the next Q&A. Delegate of Libya, your questions will be answered. The committee needs an answer for the same Bangladesh. Thank you. Delegate of Pakistan, you have been recognized.
My question is to my fellow friend Afghanistan. While we know that we have been stationed in Kaido Pakhtunkhwa. We used you as your aid, but the conflict over the Duran line, can you resolve the Duran line conflict? The border between Pakistan and Afghanistan.
My fellow delegate, Pakistan, to answer your question, first off, I would like to counter your question. From the starting of the war, you have been funding the Taliban terrorists with arms, ammunitions, and also training. So before you question, and also on the current situation, a majority of the fault lies with Pakistan, as they have been trying to like extend their borders through force, and also they have continued with their military coup against the borders.
This is not now, in the 70s, that Soviet invasion has happened.
Delegate of Pakistan, please stick to the non-caucus, that is humanitarian aid.
Okay.
Yes, Delegate of India, you have been recognized. You raised your placard earlier.
Thank you. I have a question to the delegate of Pakistan. Pakistan is a country offering a sanctuary to the terrorist organizations. However, Pakistan provides humanitarian aid to serve its own political interests rather than focusing on purely on helping people. What is your word on that?
I have a counter question to India, to the delegate of India. What about the Kashmir issue? You will say that after the 70s, most states that we in the parliament that we abrogated Article 370.
Distinguished Delegate of Pakistan, you have to first answer the question.
Okay. This women are epicenter of terrorists. Yes. Now in USA, they push us on global war and terrorism. They push us to the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan. And we are funding terrorists. Yes, we. And what's the second question?
I asked you, let me repeat my question again. Pakistan is a country offering a sanctuary to terrorist organizations. However, Pakistan provides humanitarian aid to serve its own political interests rather than focusing purely on helping people.
The political interest is the word. Basically, Pakistan has served Lebanon, Palestine, during a so-called friend in that day, the Palestinian Lebanon, your so-called friends.
Delegate of Germany, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Secretariat. As the delegation of Germany, I would not take any stance to any country here, but I would definitely like to let the delegation of Pakistan, the Honorable Delegation of Pakistan, know that it is a point of order. As per the statement of the delegation of Pakistan, the Durand line is a border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. I'm really sorry. It's factually incorrect. The Durand line is a border between Pakistan and our beloved friend India. It is the POK region that Pakistan has illegally occupied. We recognize that. And also our fellow friend Afghanistan. Honorable Delegation of Pakistan, don't take me wrong, please get your facts right here. And also, we humbly request, don't take me wrong in this. And also, as the delegation of Germany, we would request to abrogate this particular topic so that we don't waste any further time. Thank you.
Delegate of Afghanistan, you have been recognized.
Delegate of Pakistan, I have a counter question for you on the humanitarian aid. Are you aware of the terrorist organization like ISIS-K and other extremist group posing a significant security threat to Afghanistan and other regions? That is the main cause due to which Afghanistan is trying to keep its border active.
Yes, I agree with my fellow friend delegates of Afghanistan. ISIS case is funded by Pakistan state against the other side. The whole military nexus is funding terrorists. They are funding politically by using puppets. Prime Minister, thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Delegate of Azerbaijan, please put forward your. Can you please use the mic? Can someone please pass the mic?
I have a question to the delegate of Pakistan about the humanitarian aid. That is the humanitarian aid it's providing internationally or just to its own country?
I think the delegate of Azerbaijan knows.
Just a second. Adding a point to it that because we have found a lot of terrorism attacks from the Pakistan to the Indian side, that is to the Kashmir. So
Yes.
that's the question.
Yes. Are you guys lobbying against me? I think the question the word of the question given by Azerbaijan is correct. We funded terrorism. We are in Kashmir because our money-minded army generals, they are trying to bully other provinces. Only Punjab and capital territories of Islamabad.
No further question to the delegate of Pakistan. Now we will recognize delegate of Saudi Arabia. Please put forward your point.
I have a question for the delegate of Israel. How does Israel ensure humanitarian aid reaches civilians in conflict areas while maintaining security concerns, while organizations like the Human Rights Watch and Doctors Without Borders accuse Israel of genocide, acts of genocide, as it has obstructed aid in the Gaza Strip?
The right to defend ourselves is enshrined in Article 51 of the UN Charter. So we take the full advantage of this article and we are defending ourselves against the terrorist activities that are being held against us by the state of Palestine and Hamas. But we are not too far drifted away from humane activities. So we have ensured that 100,000 tons of humanitarian aid, including food, clothing, medicines, have reached the Gaza Strip and also the Palestinians and the civilians. Our war is not against the innocent civilians, but against the terrorist organizations who pose a threat to our country. Thank
you. State of Palestine, you have been recognized.
My question is to the delegate of Israel. If the state of Israel accepted the Oslo Accord, we would have avoided the terrorism and the violence which is going on today in the border of Gaza and Western Bank. And why did the people of Israel assassinated the Rabbi who was the Prime Minister of Israel? Israel was the one who wasn't ready for the peace. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. But I don't think any member here would be ready for violence against their own innocent citizens without any provocation. And protect the nationalism of Palestine. So that is a direct recognition under your state.
My question is, why did you accept the Oslo Accord? It's a peace agreement which was made between Palestine and Israel. The Palestine PLO, just a second. Palestine Liberation Organization, which was recognized by Israel as a which was recognized by the Israel government itself as an organization which protects and represents the lives and the rights of citizens of Palestine. Then, after the Rabin, who was the Israel Prime Minister, who signed the Oslo Accord with Palestine and Israel, why did the people of Israel assassinate Rabin? Why? Weren't you ready to make peace?
That's a direct threat to our nationalism, delegate, and we believe in firm nationalism. Anything that is a direct threat to us will be taken out and rooted away. It doesn't matter who the state is. It is not a threat to us. You posed a threat to us, delegate.
Well, in 1993.
1993, we still had tensions. We still had tensions on the border and the Gaza Strip. Exactly, but you should have stayed in your lane.
Delegates, you have to focus on the North Caucasus as well, which is humanitarian aid. I don't find it in your questions.
A country which is not ready to make a peace treaty, speaking of the humanitarian aid.
You should also realize that Israel has contributed significantly to make sure that your civilians are safe and your civilians get the required medical attention. So I don't think the state of Palestine is in a position to question Israel's motives.
And we are the first country in the Middle East to propose the peace treaty between Israel and
that shows
Delegate of USA, you have been recognized. Before the delegate of USA questions, no kind of hooting will be allowed in this committee session. If you want to encourage your delegates, please use the following protocol. I repeat, no kind of hooting will be allowed. Yes, delegate of USA, you may continue.
I'm sorry, Chair. There is not a question, but the argument was getting a little personal. That is why I wanted to raise my hand. Thank you.
The delegate of Israel, you're recognized.
I have a question for the delegate of Palestine.
We will move forward to the next. I'll just delegate
This related to humanitarian.
Okay. Please continue.
Like I mentioned, Hamas claims to protect the nationalism of Palestine, and you said that you do promote humanitarian aid. Please justify your efforts at humanitarian aid while you continue to pursue terror activities against the state of Israel.
a country which was in an attack since the dawn of that particular country, how can it even able to raise money like to become an economic developed country and provide humanitarian aid? How can it?
I'm sorry, delegate, but are you justifying your terror activities as an attempt to increase your GDP?
I'm not supporting my terrorism activities. Can you repeat the question?
My question is, Hamas claims to protect the nationalism.
The second counterpart.
Yes, please justify your efforts at humanitarian aid while your state continues to harbor terror activities against Israel.
Terror activities against Israel. How are countries supposed to counter the war? I really didn't get your question in the first place. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Just a minute, delegate. Sorry to interrupt you. Delegate of Azerbaijan, you have been recognized. Sure, you can. Please go ahead. Delegate of Israel, you may now continue.
I hope you're aware that whatever terror activities that Hamas is taking forward, it claims to do so under the pretense of nationalism of Palestine. So that holds you directly accountable to whatever you've done to us. And now you've justified that you do partake in humanitarian aid. So my question for you is, how are you contributing to humanitarian aid? And please justify your stand on humanitarian aid when you are at war with your neighboring country due to terrorist activities.
Delegate of Germany have been recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and the Secretary. Also, sorry to cut you short and your Israel and Palestine. Sorry to cut you both here. But I would like to propose the right point of order. The point of parliamentary inquiry, and also I would like to write of reply, because the reason the delegation of Germany is proposing this is, first of all, as per the Oslo Accord, my friend Palestine, Israel signed that accord with the Palestinian. There is no government the Palestine has. First of all, apart from the United Nations, there is no other organization that recognizes Palestine as a country. That is the first point. And not getting into the sovereign matters of Palestine as well as Israel, I would like to say there is the point of order here. There is no base to this interaction session, because Israel is protecting the sovereignty of his country. It is on offensive, as well as Palestine. The people of Palestine, I'm sure that you are representing, are also having problems with humanitarian aid. So there is no point of aggression here. There is no point of humanitarian aid here, because one is on the offensive, one is on the defensive. I understand things are quite on the hot side of both of your states. But I would like that every other country here also gets a representation. So can we move forward? Because and Germany would like a parliamentary inquiry.
Sorry to interrupt you. How many are for the motion of changing the North Caucus? Please raise your placards. How many are against it? Please raise your placards. Okay. Keeping in mind the overwhelming majority, we will now move on to our second North Caucus. Is anyone okay? Delegate, you are to be recognized. You have to adjourn yourself. You are allowed to, please. Anyone who wants to give ideas or motions for North Caucus? Delegate of India, you have been recognized. Sure.
Thank you. So, the delegate of India would like to propose a moderated caucus on the topic, enhancing counter-terrorism strategies to multilateral cooperation for 1 hour for 90 seconds each delegate.
How many are for the motion of this moderated caucus? Please raise your placards. How many are against it? Please raise your placards. Okay.
Can we have one for it? Just for it.
Please raise your placards. And please give a head count when you see the reports. How many are for this North Caucus? Please raise your placards. For. Yes. 17. And how many are against it? Again. Okay, so we'll go on for second round of voting again for another moderated caucus. So anyone wants to present a motion? France, you have been recognized.
Thank you so much, Chair. I would love to propose a model caucus on the topic military activism and strengthening the role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces for 1 hour. Thank you.
How many are for the motion? Please raise your placards. Head count. Please raise your placards properly so that there won't be any mistake in counting. 19, so I think we already have a majority. So based on simple majority, the motion has been passed. Now we'll be discussing on the moderated caucus, military activism and the role of UNPKF. The floor is now open. Each has 60 seconds and then we'll continue to the Q&A session like we did before. Delegate of Poland, you have been recognized. Did you want to say something?
I actually wanted to change the motion to
Delegate who raised the placard before, I'm not sure, please stand up. You raised your placard before, yes. No, you. Delegate of
Sweden.
Sweden? Are you delegate of Sweden? Yes, did you want to say anything, Sweden?
No, I just wanted to change the motion. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Switzerland, delegate of Switzerland, did you want to mention? Wanted to change the motion, but I think it has majority, so we'll continue with the moderated caucus. Yes, delegate of India. Sure, you can. Anyone else? Delegate of? Mexico. Sure, you can. Okay, so as everyone wants to adjourn themselves, so what we'll do is we'll just adjourn the meeting for 5 minutes. Are all the delegates okay with it?
It is 12:19. All the delegates have to be back by 12:25.
We will reconvene by 12:25. Thank you so much, delegates.
Chair, we have what is the सही में नहीं पता किसको पता क्या वो उनको जो होते हैं उधर से पूछा अच्छा है मुझे पता लैपटॉप ऑन जाएगा मस्त को भूख लगा तो सीइंग दिस आई एम सो टेंशन फ्री ओके अच्छा खाना है इसे बैठना चढ़ने का मत थोड़ा
I will hold you accountable.
And I was angry, I was like, I'm already famous, why is that lady not in a dairy? And then Mrs. like, no, she has so turn off her. Someone is trying to sabotage you. Just go beach में, you are the OC, you can go beach में. If they are using this CPI, you can OC, you can. Oh my yeah, I get that. Okay. So what is my contribution? So it continues with the climate, yes. The same thing, climate yes. If this agriculture is disrupting some farmers, Yeah, I'll be there. I'll handle it. I can't even smile because that would be so unprofessional.
All the delegates are requested to be seated.
Should we prepare for the moderated caucus?
Yes, as no, that is not going to be used.
You can plan for your like which motion you want to propose in the committee, plan on that without any use of internet.
Attention all delegates, please take your seats. I request all delegates to call your fellow delegates inside. Please be seated.
So YouTube only, no? Pause है अच्छा. Okay, ready? Live is still going on.
Delegates, the short break is concluded. Take your seats.
I request all the delegates, please take your seats.
I'm going down. Is there any delegate outside?
I request all the delegates, please take your seats. ED, please, the secretariat members are requested to please close the door in 1 minute. Whoever is remaining outside has no right to come inside the committee session. Thank you. Please give last warning to all the delegates. ED? Supposed to say secretariat. The secretariat was requested to please call all the delegates inside.
So please take their seats. Delegate of Palestine, is there anyone else? Out. Okay, you may take your seat, please.
Can someone please, I'll ask the secretariat. Sana, can you please circulate? Just let the doors be open for 2 minutes and after that we can close it.
Where is the delegate of Afghanistan? Delegate of Afghanistan, please take a seat. It will be unfair to other delegates.
Are all the delegates back? Not yet. Next committee session. Delegates, you can use your mobile phones, but without the use of internet. If we caught you,
Only the delegates who do not have their other technology devices with them or printed material are allowed to use their phones, but without internet. Those who have papers have to use it with them. But if your material is on your phone, that is a different thing.
Please show it to the volunteer. We'll ensure that there is no internet.
If any delegate is left outside, they have to write to the chair and the table the reasons for the late arrival. Let them in, but they will not be a part of any voting. And we have noticed that there has been sabotaging happening in this committee. We are warning you right now, please stop this, and the consequences will be very difficult on you. It is highly against the spirit of model United Nations to sabotage or have in mind some delegate and try to do things wrong for them. Please maintain the decorum of the floor. Thank you.
I would just like to remind the delegates before we formally start, this is a forum for constructive debate and it's not a forum for personal attacks. So let's keep our discussions that way and let's keep it professional. All the best. Session is reconvened.
So now we'll continue our discussion on Mod Caucus military activism, empowering and the roles of United Nations Peacekeeping Force on World Forum. So we will start on a chronological order, A to Z. Please start. You will be allotted 60 seconds each and then followed by the Q&A session like we did earlier. Okay, so you haven't prepared for Mod Caucus on the current topic? So you would like to pass the motion? Okay. You will do it once your turn comes, Afghanistan. You can just pass it to the next delegate. Okay? And earlier, who passed it to the next delegate? There was some delegate who passed the earlier motion. Yes, delegate, may you please recognize yourself? Can you please recognize your country? Malta. Okay. Thank you. So we'll start with the proceedings. Go ahead.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the Republic of Armenia stands steadfast in its commitment to the principles of global peace and security. In a world fraught with evolving conflicts, the role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces, UNPKF, is a paramount in fostering stability and harmony. To achieve this, we must collectively work towards strengthening and enhancing the capacity of the UNPKF. Armenia advocates for comprehensive reforms that include advancing training, improved resource allocations, and the establishment of clear and robust mandates tailored to the modern challenges. Furthermore, military engagement within the framework of the UNPKF must always prioritize the preservation of human dignity, adherence to international law, and the long-term goal of sustainable peace building. Armenia, as a dedicated contributor to the peacekeeping missions, reaffirms its unwavering support for these endeavors. Let us work together to uphold the values. Thank you.
The delegate of Afghanistan would like to pass the motion to Australia.
You are supposed to, okay, you can pass it to the next delegate. And once you're done with writing the letter, delegate of Australia, you can take up the mic and speak. Okay? Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, peacekeeping has been one of the UN's most vital missions, saving countless lives. Since inception in 1948, the UN peacekeeping forces, UNPKF, have deployed over 2 million persons and across 71 missions globally, with 87,000 peacekeepers currently stationed in the conflict zones. Austria has contributed significantly, sending over 10,000 troops and members to the missions in Cyprus, Lebanon, and the Golan Heights. And Austria recommends enhancing the training and equipment, ensure peacekeepers are better prepared for the modern threats, and including cyber and hybrid warfares. And peacekeeping is not just about maintaining ceasefires, it is about rebuilding lives and restoring hope. Austria calls on all nations to strengthen the UNPKF for a more peaceful future. Thank you.
Greetings to the Honorable Chair and the distinguished delegates. I, the delegate of Azerbaijan, would be engaged in the debate of military activism, that Azerbaijan believes that military force can be an effective tool in maintaining peace and harmony globally. However, we also recognize the importance of using military force responsibly and in accordance with international law. Azerbaijan proposes strengthening and enhancing the role of UN peacekeeping forces, UNPKF, to ensure that they have the necessary resources and capabilities to actively maintain peace and security. Thank you.
Delegate of Bangladesh, you have 60 seconds plus 20 seconds. Honorable Chair and the Honorable Chair and the distinguished delegates, Bangladesh has been a major contributor to United Nations peacekeeping forces, providing troops to conflict zones worldwide, with a focus on peace and stability. The country continues to push for strengthening the UNPKF by enhancing the training and effectiveness of peacekeepers. You have 90 seconds in total.
The delegation of Bulgaria would like to pass this motion to the delegation of China.
China, you have 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, China believes in critical role of UNPKF, the United Nations peacekeeping forces, in maintaining global peace and security. We propose enhancing the operational capabilities of peacekeeping forces through improved funding, training and development of advanced technologies. China has been a major contributor to UN peacekeeping missions with a strong presence in conflict zones like South Sudan, Mali and Lebanon. China developed a specialized engineering unit to Mali to assist with infrastructure development such as road construction and mine clearance, supporting local stability. Additionally, China has also participated in joint peacekeeping exercises with various nations to enhance coordination and peacekeeping skills. A strong and effective UNPKF is essential for responding to crises and supporting post-conflict recovery. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates.
You have 60 plus 30 seconds. 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. Croatia has a long history of supporting and contributing to the UN peacekeeping operations. To address these challenges and enhance the effectiveness of the UNPKF, Croatia proposes following key actions. Regional cooperation. We have been actively engaged in regional initiatives such as the BRDO process and the Berlin process, aimed at promoting stability, security and cooperation in the Western Balkans. EU for Althea. We have participated in the European Union peacekeeping mission in Bosnia and Herzegovina, contributing to the maintenance of the peace and stability in the region. In conclusion, Croatia reaffirms its unwavering commitment towards participating in the Union peacekeeping forces. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, Denmark strongly supports the enhancement of the United Nations peacekeeping forces to maintain global peace and harmony. Having actively contributed to the UN peacekeeping missions, Denmark understands the importance of the well-trained and the well-equipped forces. We propose improving pre-deployment training, ensuring suitable funding, and incorporating the women, peace and security agenda into the peacekeeping mandates. Denmark urges all member states to strengthen their commitment to the UNPKF to ensure effective conflict resolution and last.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, you have 60 plus 60, 2 minutes.
Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, military activism is a critical component in pursuit of global peace and harmony. UNPKF plays an essential role in stabilizing the regions affected by conflict and fostering environment conducive to peace. Ecuador recognizes the military activism which excludes through the framework of international cooperation and respect for sovereignty and can effectively
mitigate conflicts, and support nations in their quest for stability. UNPKF must operate under the robust mandatory that empowers the act of decisively in the face of threats to peace. This includes not only traditional peacemaking roles, but also proactive measures to prevent escalating violence and protect civilians. Ecuador advocates for clear and adaptable mandates that reflect the evolving nature of conflicts. Effective peacemaking requires well-trained personnel and adequate resources. By enhancing the capabilities of UNPKF, we can assure that equipment to address complex challenges on the ground. In conclusion, Ecuador stands firm in its belief that military activism, when guided by principles of respect, cooperation, and inclusivity, can significantly contribute to global peace and harmony. We must work together to empower UNPKF as a vital force and stability and security in our world. Thank you.
Finland, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the delegation of Finland applauds the tireless efforts of the United Nations peacekeeping forces in maintaining peace and stability worldwide. However, the evolving nature of conflicts necessitates modernization and enhanced support for these missions. Finland advocates for increasing funding for peacekeeping operations, ensuring they are equipped with advanced technology and logistical support. Furthermore, we propose improved training for peacekeepers, focusing on mediation, cultural sensitivity, and addressing gender-based violence. Peacekeeping must evolve to meet modern challenges. Finland is committed to supporting measures that strengthen the effectiveness and impact of UN peacekeeping missions. Thank you.
France, you have 60 plus 8, 68 seconds.
Okay. Right. The French Republic stands resolutely committed to the principles of maintaining global peace and harmony through effective and responsible military activism. As a founding member of the United Nations, France recognizes that peacekeeping operations are the most vital tools for addressing conflict and fostering stability in fragile regions. Before talking about the contribution of France, I'd like to thank countries like India, United States, and of course, the European Union for their contribution to the United Nations peacekeeping process. To address these challenges and enhance the effectiveness of UNPKF, France proposes 5 key actions. The first one, strengthening the mandate and the resources. Peacekeeping missions must be equipped with clear and achievable mandates and adequate resources. The second, prioritizing the protection of civilians. The protection of civilians, particularly women and the children, must remain central to all peacekeeping mandates. Third one being strengthening regional collaboration. Regional organizations such as the African Union or the European Union become. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you. Honorable Chair and all my fellow dignitaries, Germany takes a stand on the UNIFIL missions, and some of them includes the MINUSMA, UNIFIL, UNIMIS, the MUNROSO, and the UNIREC. And all these are the peacekeeping missions that Germany is currently involved in. We have a small contingent, not a lot of people. But that contingent consists of women participation of more than 68%. That is more than the male contribution. Women on ground, officers, doctors, and other people doing their job. We have a training program headquartered at Uganda. Our own good friend, the Republic of Korea, had helped us in making the same. Together with Israel, we have started a mental health program for combating PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorders, for all the soldiers and women and all the people who come home after serving the Union and the world for us. Thank you. Germany will rest the case.
Honorable
60 seconds.
Honorable Chairs and distinguished delegates, Greece believes in military activism is crucial for maintaining global peace and harmony, particularly when addressing the complex and
evolving threats that destabilize regions. We strongly believe in the power of multilateral military actions, especially through the United Nations peacekeeping forces, which is UNPKF, as a means of safeguard international peace and security. With our long-lasting commitment to UN peacekeeping missions, Greece has been first and a positive impact that when forced, highly trained peacekeepers in post-conflict regions. To effectively maintain the peace, and we must strengthen and enhance the role of UNPKF, ensuring that these forces are equipped with the necessary mandate and resources to respond to the modern challenges. Thank you.
My research is more focused on military activism on this topic. So here. Military activism is an effective tool in maintaining peace and harmony among the disputing nations. In recent years, Guyana has sought to strengthen its defense capabilities and security alliances, particularly in response to territorial disputes and regional security concerns with Venezuela. Guyana has requested assistance from United States to modernize its defense capabilities, aiming to create a more organized and better equipped military. Guyana also participates in multinational military exercises to enhance regional security cooperation. Overall, Guyana actively strengthening its military capabilities and security alliances to address emerging security challenges and safeguard its sovereignty. Thank you.
Delegate of India, you have 70 seconds. 60 plus 10.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, I stand before you today as a representative of India to address an issue that is central to global peace and security. The role of military activism and its alignment with the international efforts, particularly in the strengthening and enhancing the United Nations peacekeeping forces, which is UNPKF. Military activism is often seen as a necessary tool for national security, but it must be wielded responsibility, ensuring it does not lead to unnecessary conflict or destabilization. The essence of military activism should be fostering peace, cooperation, and humanitarian aid rather than exacerbating violence. In conclusion, India calls on all the nations to support the strengthening and enhancement of UN peacekeeping efforts by providing the necessary resources, ensuring comprehensive mandates, and fostering greater cooperation between military activism and peace-building efforts. Together, we can create a world that is not only military secure, but also a world where peace and harmony is truly lasting. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I would like to pass on the mic.
Delegate of Israel, you have 61 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Israel, as a staunch advocate of multilateral military engagement, firmly believes that military activism, when executed through UN peacekeeping forces, is essential to maintaining stability and preventing the resurgence of violent conflict. Israel has long supported the United Nations interim force in Lebanon. This force, under the UNSC Resolution 425, has played a vital role in monitoring Lebanese-Israeli border and has also provided logistical support and intelligence. Currently, Israel has deployed more effectiveness in preserving peace in the region. We are also involved in direct engagement in peacekeeping missions and have deployed our forces in South Sudan and contributed more than 120 personnel to ensure stability, support disarmament processes, aid in post-conflict reconstruction, and we have also expertise in urban warfare, counter-insurgency, and humanitarian assistance. Thank you.
Delegate of Italy, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Italy has been playing prominent role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces in maintaining global peace and harmony by providing troops, logistical support, and funding to various UN peacekeeping missions. It Italy contributes to the conflict resolution and post-conflict reconstruction in regions such as Balkans and Middle East. Italy's approach to military activism emphasizes a comprehensive multi-dimensional strategy and includes diplomacy, humanitarian assistance, and development aid alongside military efforts. By enhancing the capacity and efficiency of UN peacekeeping forces, Italy supports the idea that a robust and well-contributed international peacekeeping presence is critical to preventing the recurrence of conflict and maintaining global stability. Thank you.
Greetings to the Honorable Chair and delegates. Japan recognizes the important role of UNPKF in peacekeeping operations. Over the years, Japan has also contributed extensively, be it in the form of medical assistance or engineering units. However, concerning the safety of the peacekeepers, Japan calls for the use of modern technologies like drones and satellite surveillance, and also focus on post-conflict rebuilding efforts.
To Japan? Yeah, delegate of Libya, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the role of UN peacekeeping force in maintaining global peace is undeniable, and yet their effectiveness is often compromised by insufficient resources and unclear mandates. In Libya, we have seen firsthand the challenges faced by peacekeepers in conflict zones. The time has come for peacekeeping operations to evolve and adapt the complexities of modern-day conflicts. Libya recommends the following actions. 1. Increase funding and manpower for UN peacekeeping forces, ensuring they are equipped to handle the growing demands of peace operations. 2. Equip peacekeepers with advanced technology, including surveillance communication tools, to better manage and monitor conflict zones. 3. Provide cultural sensitivity and post-conflict rebuilding training to peacekeepers, ensuring they can foster long-term stability. We must empower the UN peacekeeping forces to live up to their potential and truly uphold peace and security worldwide. Thank you.
Delegate of Malta. Yeah, delegate of Malta, you have 60 plus 50 seconds.
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, Malta remains steadfast in its support for the United Nations peacekeeping forces, recognize their vital role in maintaining global peace. We propose strengthening UNPKF through enhancing training programs, technological upgrades, and financial contributions from member states to ensure their ability to address modern conflicts effectively. As a non-aligned nation, Malta stresses the need for impartiality and inclusivity in peacekeeping missions. Thank you.
Mexico.
Delegate of Mexico, you have 60 plus 80.
Thank you. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, hola again. Mexico has a long-standing commitment to peace and diplomacy and believes that United Nations Peacekeeping Forces (UNPKF) plays a crucial role in maintaining international peace and security. Mexico emphasizes the importance of ensuring the peacekeeping operations and adequately resourced and supported by the international community. I might go here out limb and say that Mexico does not only support peace but also it is not a threat to any nation. Imagine all the people living like in peace.
Republic of Mozambique.
Yeah. Mozambique, you have 60 plus, sorry, you have 2 minutes and 80 seconds.
Thank you.
If we have no peace, it's because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Honorable Chair, Excellencies, Member of the Security Council, acting on behalf of the Republic of Mozambique, I am ordered to address this body on the crucial issue of military activism and its role in maintaining peace and harmony on a global stage. In the face of ongoing emerging global security challenges, it is vital that we continue to strengthen the role of the United Nations peacekeeping forces, UNPKF, to ensure that they are to address the evolving threats to international peace and security. In accordance with the Southern African Development Committee 2023 Peace and Security Mandate, to further strengthen the impact of peacekeeping missions, Mozambique advocates for greater resources and more robust mandates for UNPKF. Peacekeeping forces must have the capacity to operate in increasing complex environments where peacekeepers are often called upon to address multifaceted challenges, from protecting civilians and ensuring humanitarian aid delivery to combat emerging threats such as terrorism and organized crimes. In addition to enhancing the operational capacity of peacekeeping forces, Mozambique stresses the importance to collaboration with regional organizations such as African Union. In conclusion, Mozambique believes that military activism, when coupled with diplomacy, development, and regional cooperation, can play a pivotal role in creating a more peaceful world. Mozambique stands ready to work with all member states to enhance the capacity, effectiveness of UNPKF to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow. Once again, I would like to remind that if we have no peace, it's because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. Thank you.
Delegate of Myanmar, you have 60 plus 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Myanmar plays an active role in maintaining global peace through military activism and supporting the United Nations peacekeeping forces. It's been actively participating in UN peacekeeping. Myanmar regularly contributes troops, police and civilian staff to UN peacekeeping missions in regions like South Sudan, Congo and Liberia, helping maintain stability and provide humanitarian assistance. Myanmar supports the UN's peacekeeping mandates and advocates for reforms to improve the effectiveness of peacekeeping missions, ensuring peacekeepers are well trained and equipped to handle modern challenges. Myanmar engages in military diplomacy and cooperates regionally and globally to foster peace and security, working through ASEAN to promote regional stability. Myanmar focuses on achieving internal peace through reconciliation and conflict resolution, recognizing that national stability is crucial for contributing to broader global peace. Myanmar supports the global fight against terrorism, cooperating in international counter-terrorism initiatives to reduce global security threats. Through these efforts, Myanmar strengthens global peace and enhances the role of UN peacekeeping in promoting international security. Yeah, thank you.
Delegate of New Zealand, Delegate of New Zealand, you have 60 plus 50 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, esteemed delegates, New Zealand is a faithful supporter of international peace and security. We believe that military activism, when done in alignment with international and under the guidance of multilateral frameworks like United Nations and or the Red Cross, it is a key for promoting and maintaining global peace. Over the years, we have contributed to many peacekeeping missions. One of the most notable examples of our missions is our longing involvement in the Syria and Israel mission. We provide military troops for our troops play a critical role in maintaining stability in volatile regions of the affected areas, and we also provide some ensure that both parties are abstain from ceasefiring from each other. And another prominent example is that we have contributed to the South Sudan, which is a newest country. Our military contributions alongside with UN PKF forces have focused on protecting civilians, monitoring human rights and assisting with humanitarian aid delivery to that country. So in conclusion, we believe that military activism, when executed properly and under multilateral frameworks like ours, is an essential tool to maintaining global peace and harmony. Thank you.
Pakistan.
Delegate of Pakistan, you have 60 plus 10 seconds, 70 seconds.
Honorable Madam Chairperson, Secretary General and my fellow delegates, UN peacekeeping force has played a role in conflict zones like Middle East and Africa. Pakistan has played a role in UNPKF, whether it is lower rank officer to general in UN peacekeeping force, whether from Iraq to Somalia. UN peacekeeping force has contributed to mediate two parties. The civil war of country due to ethnic conflict like South Sudan is from Sudan. Pakistan has believed the service of UN peacekeeping force in the region of South Asia. They have been many conflicts like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, China, etc. We need to stop the forceful invasion in the world. Thank you.
Delegate of Poland, you have 60 plus 15 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Poland has been an active contribution to global peacekeeping efforts, particularly through the United Nations peacekeeping forces. The country has developed troops to various missions, including Kosovo and the Democratic Republic of Congo, emphasizing its commitment to stability and conflict resolution. As a NATO member, Poland also supports military operations that aims to prevent conflict and promote security worldwide, such as in Afghanistan and Iraq. Poland advocates the strengthening UN peacekeeping capabilities, including better training, resource allocation and contribution with regional organizations like the EU and African Union. Additionally, Poland contributes to post-conflict and humanitarian efforts, helping rebuild societies and promote long-term stability. Poland's active role in military diplomacy and its promotion to global security, human rights and international law underscore its dedication to a peaceful and secure world. Thank you.
Republic of South Korea, you have 60 seconds. Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, UN peacekeeping operations have long been a symbol of collective global efforts to maintain peace in conflict-prone regions. However, modern challenges require peacekeeping missions to evolve, incorporating new technologies and broader mandates to address complex conflicts effectively. South Korea has been active participant in UNPKF missions since 1993, contributing personnel to operations in Lebanon, Haiti, and South Sudan. South Korea champions the enhancement of peacekeeping capabilities through better training, equitable resource allocation, and integration of advanced technologies. It advocates for expanding the scope of peacekeeping missions to include post-conflict reconstruction and regional stability initiatives. Thank you. Delegate of Saudi Arabia, you have 66 seconds.
Honorable Chair and distinguished delegates, Saudi Arabia has continued to support efforts to maintain global peace and stability, including supporting the work of United Nations. Its stance on military activism and strengthening the UN peacekeeping force reflects its broader commitment to international collaboration by aligning with its national interests. The kingdom has been involved in diplomacy to mediate conflicts, complementing UN peacekeeping efforts. Saudi Arabia has also engaged in military operations with the aim of promoting international peace and security. The Yemen intervention. Saudi's leadership role in the Middle East had called for its involvement in the military operations against Houthi rebels in Yemen to restore the internationally recognized government to prioritize regional peace and security. Like our previous ambassador, Abdullah Al-Mulami said, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia continues to believe in the pivotal role of the UN, international peacekeeping forces in establishing peace and order. Thank you.
Esteemed Chair, fellow delegates, Slovenia believes that peacekeeping should adapt to changing nature of global conflicts. We also believe that regional organizations play a vital role in peacekeeping. Military activism, when strategically aimed at peacekeeping and conflict prevention, can play a significant role in fostering global peace and stability. Slovenia, as a member of the United Nations, has been an active contributor to international peacekeeping efforts, particularly through its involvement in the United Nations Peacekeeping Force, strengthening Slovenia's role in global peace and operations would involve enhancing its military capabilities for peace enforcement, humanitarian aid support, and conflict mediation. This could include increasing its contribution to international missions, improving training for peacekeepers, and expanding cooperation with NATO and EU defense frameworks by investing in both military preparedness and diplomatic dialogue. Slovenia can enhance. Thank you.
Honorable Chairman and esteemed delegates, Somalia appreciates the UN peacekeeping forces operations in Somalia, fighting against the insurgents in Somalia in the past and future, and in the present also. The UN peacekeeping operations in Somalia resulting in insurgent groups of Al-Shabaab and other groups, which helps in the government and the military forces to fight against them. Somalia suggests some developments in the UN peacekeeping forces to fight against insurgents, to fight cyber warfare and other local techniques, and also suggests to allocate an increase of budget to create a massive. Thank you.
Delegate, you have 60 plus 50 seconds. Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Sri Lanka has been an active contributor to United Nations peacekeeping. Since the 1960s, the country's involvement reflects its commitment to promoting international peace, stability and security. Key contributions. Sri Lanka has deployed over 25,000 military, police and civilian forces. The forces consist of Sri Lankan Army, Navy, Air Force and police units. A United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISSS, focus protecting civilians, supporting and aiding peace building efforts. United Nations Internet Force in Lebanon, role ensuring stability and monitoring borders. Sri Lankan peacekeepers are known as their professionalism, dedication and efficiency, recognized for their contribution to post-conflict recovery in regions like South Sudan and Mali. Sri Lanka has actively increased the participation of female peacekeepers, aligning with UN Resolution 1000. Thank you. 60 seconds.
There's a saying that goes, pick a pen when you can pick a sword, pick diplomacy when you can pick war. What better nation than Sweden to state this? Sweden is a long-standing supporter of UNPKF, contributing personal, funding, expertise, etc. Let me show you how. Sweden has been involved over 120 UNPKF missions since 1948. Sweden has also supported women participation in peacekeeping under the feminist foreign policy agenda. Sweden is one of the top contributors of UN peacekeeping budgets, consistently meeting or even exceeding the UN target of 0.7% of GNI for developing aid which supports missions and conflict-prone areas. Sweden believes that military activism alone cannot bring sustainable peace, and that it must be complemented by humanitarian aid, institutional development, addressing the root cause of conflicts such as poverty, inequality, climate change. This will bring the ultimate peace we wish to see and wish to get. Thank you.
Delegate of Palestine, you have 60 plus 2, 62 minutes, 62 seconds.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, there is a saying of Vishnugupta, who was the Prime Minister of Mauryan dynasty. Army is nothing but the brains of the kingdom. And I, delegate of Palestine, who represent the people of Palestine and the nation of Palestine, I believe that an army can destroy another nation, but if it is used in a rightful means, it can attain international peace and security. And I know the current situations which are going in my country, and we are unable, I will be honest here, we are unable to support UNPKF. But as a delegate of Palestine today, I am here to achieve and promote international peace and security for my country. I make sure that if the tension in my country reduces, we will make sure that we promote United Nations UNPKF.
I'd like to pass. Good afternoon, honorable chairs and my fellow delegates. So, the relation between the United Nations Peacekeeping Force (UNPKF) and North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea as North Korea, is not directly involved in UN peacekeeping mission and does not host any UN peacekeeping operation on its territory. Few key points. The United Nations has no active peacekeeping operating in North Korea. North Korea refusal to operate with international PK efforts. The lacking of trust between North Korea and the UN due to the historical tension. Thank you.
Did the delegates listen carefully what was said? Then why did you bang the desk? She said it's not there in North Korea. Then how can you bang the desk? Okay, be careful while banging the desk. It's not to cheer up somebody, it's to focus on key points which are worth promoting on a United Nations forum.
Delegate of Russian Federation. Yeah. You have 72 seconds. 60 plus 12.
Alright, thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Chairs, Secretary Generals, and all delegates. First of all, thank you for UNPK for peacekeeping missions and operations. The Russian Federation recognizes the importance of addressing humanitarian crises through impartial aid delivery while maintaining respect for state sovereignty, as we have mentioned earlier. Furthermore, military activism under UN mandates is crucial for maintaining peace and stability globally. Recent conflicts in Syria, Yemen, and Africa underscore the need for coordinated efforts that balance humanitarian intervention with state sovereignty and multilateral military action under the international law. As some delegates have mentioned, Russia advocates for the strengthening of the mandates for UN peacekeeping missions, particularly in regions experiencing instability. Russia proposes increasing financial and logistical support for peacekeeping forces to enhance their effectiveness in maintaining global peace. Russia calls for greater coordination between military actors and peacekeeping forces ensure that military activism aligns with international law and the UN's mandate for peace agreement. Thank you.
Honorable Chair.
You have delegate of USA. You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, the United States has long supported the United Nations peacekeeping forces as a critical tool in the maintenance of global peace and security in conflict zones where local governments are unable or unwilling to ensure peace. UN peacekeepers provide stability and humanitarian support, helping to create conditions for long-term peace. In 2002, over 100,000 UN peacekeepers from 125 countries were deployed in 12 active missions, contributing to the peace in regions such as Congo, South Sudan, and Cyprus. The US has consistently contributed both financially and logistically to these missions, and we recognize the need to strengthen the capacity of UNPKF.
We propose an enhancement of rapid deployment capacity of UNPKF to enable peacekeepers to be deployed quickly in emergency crisis. Thank you.
Delegate of Uganda, you have 65 seconds.
Thank you. Good afternoon, esteemed members and my fellow delegates. Firstly, the Republic of Uganda will thank the United Nations for coordinating with the peacekeeping forces within the Uganda and especially in the northern part of Uganda. Uganda firmly believes militarism or the military activism as a form of political activity is used to maintain order at the international level, especially at the level of certain hotspots or the affected areas. It would be more powerful. Despite that, there is a need to increase the effectiveness of UNPKF for the effective actions to prevent and to provide the help in emergency. Also, besides this, Uganda has been contributing a lot to the UNPKF. Uganda has participated in peacekeeping missions, notably in Somalia under AMISOM, it's African Union Mission in Somalia, and also Uganda has been focusing to maintain regional peace, which would obviously reflect at the international level. Uganda hosts peacekeeping training program.
Please pass the mic to the next delegate. The time is up. Thank you.
I would like to pass the mic.
Delegate of Sweden, you have been recognized. Sure, you can. Next delegate.
I would like to pass.
You're the delegate of Ukraine.
Please continue.
Esteemed Chair and fellow delegates, the UAE has consistently supported peacekeeping missions and advocated for providing them with modern tools and strategies to address evolving changes. The UNPKF has proven its value, but its effectiveness lies on collective support. Apart from basic suggestions like enhancing training, providing peacekeepers with state-of-the-art technology, and ensuring funding, we believe that responsible and proactive military engagement, when guided by the principles of diplomacy and humanity, can be a powerful force for preserving stability and protecting lives, while paving the way for long-term development. We can empower them to safeguard vulnerable populations and mediate conflicts effectively this way. The UAE remains dedicated to fostering partnerships and to amplify the impact of these missions, recognizing that their success ensures the safety and dignity of millions. Thank you.
Now the floor is open for Q&A session.
We have exactly 10 minutes.
Delegate of Azerbaijan, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me this opportunity. Well, I have a question to China. That you said that you are also involved in contribution to the United Nations peacekeeping. Then I would like to hear your comments on the thing that from your country there was a dangerous virus which was spread in the year 2019, and it was spread internationally where people lost, well, a lot of them lost their lives. So I would like to hear your comments on that. Thank you.
Okay, so to answer your question, I don't think you can blame the entire country for getting, the virus. And coming to peacekeeping missions, China's participation is driven by commitment to international stability and cooperation. For example, right now also, we're engaging in talk with India regarding the border disputes.
Sorry to interrupt, but the thing is that I'm not blaming the country as you're the delegate of your country. I guess you are responsible to answer anybody asked about this thing. So that's the thing.
Yeah, I do acknowledge my country's stance in this. France, you have been recognized.
So my question is also to the delegate of China. Indeed, China's contribution towards UN peacekeeping forces is undeniable. But my point is, thing you are doing to the human rights violation you are doing to the Uyghur Muslims and to the people of Tibet. I mean, if this continue to go on, who knows? Maybe there might come up another terrorist group in that region, and that will surely burden up the UN peacekeeping forces. So, I would first of all request you not to do so, and I'd like to hear your comment on this. Thank you.
Sure, delegate of China. Anyone else wants to question? Delegate of Libya, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the recognition. Before moving with this Q&A session, I would just like to remind about my question in the previous Q&A session, and I would like Bangladesh, the delegate of Bangladesh, to answer my question. And I'm comfortable if they are not yet with any solutions. We, the delegate of Libya, would like to express their empathy towards the minority and would suggest the government of Bangladesh or the interim government of Bangladesh to take effective steps for the security of minorities.
Delegate of Saudi Arabia, you have been recognized.
I have a question for the delegate of North Korea. It has been noticed that North Korea has a strained relationship with the UN and does not participate in the United Nations peacekeeping force. So what are the steps that North Korea is willing to take in the future to further global peace and harmony?
Actually, I don't have an answer. So sorry. You don't have an answer?
Yes, I don't.
You have to provide with some answer, delegate.
Please repeat the question. Sorry. So my question originally was, North Korea does not cooperate with United Nations peacekeeping force and nor does have a cordial relationship with the UN. So what are the steps that the country is willing to take in the future to further global peace and harmony?
I'm really sorry to interrupt the proceedings. I have got a request from one of the delegates that network is being used still, and it's wrong on your part as delegates because it's not right to use it in a session. It's clearly prohibited. So anybody is still feeling that network is being used by some of the delegates? If yes, please raise your placards. Is network being used or internet is being used by any other delegate? If yes, please raise your placards.
If you think that other delegates are using internet, please raise your placards.
Okay. By seeing and observing the majority, I would believe, and I appreciate that nobody is using any internet. Now we can continue with the proceedings. Korea, if you don't have an answer, you can please not answer it, but you can't waste time of the committee. Thank you. Maybe now I give the opportunity Does the delegate of Somalia have to say something or pass any motion?
Honorable Chairman and esteemed delegates, I have a question to the United Nations about the crimes committed by peacekeeping, about the crimes in the civilian Somalian war and murders and prostitution conducted by in the past, and how would peacekeeping would be answerable to that.
Are you questioning the Security Council?
And the majority members who are contributing to the United Peacekeeping Forces.
Are you trying to, with due respect, to say that United Nations peacekeeping force is no way fostering any type of peace in Somalia? Is that what you're trying to say?
Was this one who sent Osama bin Laden from Arabia, Saudi Arabia, to cripple Russia's strength in Afghanistan during the Cold War. So you voluntarily came in to poke into the affairs of Afghanistan. So when you left the country without a proper mention, the Afghanistan communist government at the time was baffled. They did not have any way to be independent. You left vehicles, airborne vehicles just punctured. And the Taliban agreed, even on news, that they would be able to fix them and repair them. Billions of dollars were just left fresh. Fresh notes of the dollars were left in cartons for them to use. So may I ask, what is the reason for this, especially the billions of dollars left off?
Delegate of India, you have been recognized.
Can I ask?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Well, this question is to the delegate of Pakistan. While it is understood own military and have been working in various peacekeeping programs, however, Pakistan has operating terror groups from its soil. However, organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to function with impunity, targeting not just India, but regional stability. We ask, how can peace be achieved when violence is actively nurtured? How can trust be built when terror is used as an instrument of state policy?
Oh, absolutely. Can you repeat it? Terrorism is state policy.
How can peace be achieved when violence is actively nurtured in your country? How can trust be built when terror is used as an instrument?
Simple. I have a counter question. Check for minorities.
Please answer my question and then you can question it.
Okay. It was created by the armed force, ISI, to provoke Kashmir civilians to an integral part of Pakistan before abolition of your Article 370.
Yes, our delegate of Afghanistan, would you like to point out something?
The question here is for the delegate of Pakistan. Please do remember that due to the conflict going on in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, India was forced to make Kashmir as one of the integral part. In Article 370, so that you could not go any further. And also, let me also remind you that ISI is a part of your country. How do you blame that on India? May I ask you? I am blaming my country, my nation has destroyed the democracy in growing terrorism by the force of wars. United States, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan put India map where the communist government in Afghanistan.
Sorry to interrupt you, delegate of Pakistan. Delegate of Israel, you have been addressed.
The delegate of Pakistan mentioned the minority issue in India.
And I would like to point this out that during the time of independence, the minority that you speak of, the Muslim communities, they were at a mere 7%.
Yes.
But after 20 years of independence, it rose to a great extent of 27%. So I don't think you are liable to ask this to the delegate of India about the minority issues. Minorities have more rights in India than they do in your own state. Distinguished delegates, it's a kind of please stick to your delegation. I understand you're Indians, but we are conducting an everyone. You should not be offended and let us maintain the formal decorum. And yes, there was Armenia. I recognize you. Please go ahead.
So I have a question for the Nagorno-Karabakh issue is a territorial conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the Nagorno-Karabakh.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Armenia. Just a second. Dear delegates, it's time for lunchtime. Please raise your placards if you want to continue the debate. Do you want lunch break? Then please raise your placards. So is this smart caucus very interesting for all of you? So we will continue this post-lunch. Okay? And we will have 2 unmod sessions. Okay? Thank you. We can now adjourn the meeting and we reconvene in. Before we convene, within how much time? 2. Delegates, please stay back. Please stay back for round. It is based on the majority that we decide the time that we reconvene in. So what is, can somebody just stand and pass the motion of what time do you want to reconvene in? Yes, we really have been recognized. 30 minutes? How many are for it? 40 minutes? Okay, please raise your placards in support of the motion. 40 minutes, lunch break. 40 minutes? Is it majority? Yes. So we will reconvene in 40 minutes. Delegates, before you leave, so there has been space here. So China, you can just join on the front and all the delegations can, after lunch, I just, please just move in the chronological order. Thank you.